Now we know the Florida school shooting suspect stopped at a fast food place minutes after the massacre. And this evening, we're getting a clearer picture of the people Nicholas Cruz targeted.
14 of them were young students with bright plans for the future. Let's go live out to Florida right now, where a massive vigil is underway to pay tribute to the victims. As you can see, thousands of people have turned out to mourn, and people are still showing up. We have team coverage of the Florida massacre. We begin with CBS reporter Kenneth Craig in Parkland, Florida, where it happened. Kenneth?
Well, Ken and Liz, good evening to you from Parkland, Florida, where a clearer picture of how this all was carried out is starting to emerge, allegedly at the hands of a troubled kid who was kicked out of this school just last year.
Are you Nicholas Jacob Cruz?
Yes, ma'am.
Nicholas Cruz arrived for his first court appearance in Florida's Broward County as a profile emerges of a troubled past.
You're going to be held without bond until further order of the court.
Cruz had posted photos of himself on Instagram holding knives and guns. He was expelled from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School for disciplinary reasons. Now the 19-year-old is charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder.
I think that this could have been prevented. He should have never been able to get a gun.
The victims in Wednesday's shooting include students, a campus monitor, and a dearly loved athletic director.
I feel like I'm in a dream. I don't believe this is real. There's no way to describe what happened.
Investigators have been filling in a timeline of the rampage, starting with how the former student walked right in, fully armed.
The suspect readied his rifle and began shooting into rooms 1215, 1216.
The rampage continued through several classrooms until he dropped his weapon and mixed in with fleeing students. He stopped at a Walmart and McDonald's before he was caught. Addressing the nation, President Trump avoided any specific reference to gun control.
It is not enough to simply take actions that make us feel like we are making a difference. We must actually make that difference.
While politicians debate the epidemic of gun violence, a shattered community gathered for a vigil to celebrate the lives of the victims. This is a massive investigation. At last check, at least 2,000 people have so far been interviewed. The victims range from 14 to 49 years old. I'm Kenneth Craig reporting in Parkland, Florida, KPIX5.
And we're getting our first look at the victims of the deadly rampage. Some were students, others were teachers. And as their names emerge, we're also learning about some acts of heroism. CBS reporter Adriana Diaz continues our coverage from Parkland.
Aaron Feist was the assistant football coach at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. He was fatally shot while shielding students. The Broward County Sheriff called him a phenomenal man.
The kids in this community loved him. They adored him. He was one of the greatest people I knew.
Jamie Guttenberg was a student. Her brother reportedly also attended school here. He survived. On Facebook, her father, Fred Guttenberg, wrote, "My heart is broken. Yesterday, Jennifer Bloom Guttenberg and I lost our baby girl to a violent shooting at her school."
We're praying for these families. We will continue to pray for these families and that justice is done for the one that brutally murdered all of these students.
As I start walking down the hallway, I hear pa, pa, pa.
Nicole Suarez, a freshman, escaped the shooting rampage, but she says the carnage will be seared in her mind for the rest of her life.
I get into the hallway, I see bodies, which I don't know if they were alive or dead, but they seemed pretty stone cold to me.
Sources tell CBS News that the gunman, 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, escaped undetected following the shooting massacre by blending in with students rushing to evacuate the school. He was identified and arrested after investigators saw surveillance video. Cruz is charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, Parkland, Florida.